Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're going to do a live walkthrough of the updated KDE Neon. Just this week, finally, we've got a new release of the KDE Neon distribution, and what we will see in this release is nothing too spectacular, but the one thing that is selling this release is the fact that the base is now fully on Ubuntu's 20.04 release. So the long-term support, the LTS release of this has now moved on to 20.04. So that's what we're going to look at here today. So before we kickstart and look through this, let's begin the installation, and we're just going to select our region, and then we're going to, once we get this installation on the go, we will take a look at what we're getting in this release here. So I'm just going to select here my region, and as I'm doing in a virtual machine, I am going to ask it to do a full disk installation, and I'm just going to enter in my details, of course. And this is the KDE Neon edition, so I'm just going to do Neon and put in my password here. Okay, so we're just going now to let that do the installation. Whilst that's happening, let's take a look at the news release. So looking on the OMG Ubuntu website, Joey has today announced this release, and it's a rebase based on Ubuntu's 20.04 LTS release. It's here and finally ready to be able to be downloaded today. The appealing thing about this is that it doesn't like to be called a Linux distro, apparently, no, because really KDE Neon itself is really a testing platform for KDE, really, to be perfectly honest, and Plasma. But obviously, in order to test this out, then they've got to obviously have their own distribution, so in this case it's KDE Neon. So this is the migration of the 18.04 build into the 20.04. This now brings us up to the latest Ubuntu release, which took place in April. It's not the 0.1 release, but hopefully what we should see in this is a lot of the security fixes and bug fixes, etc. Should hopefully be wrapped up in this ISO, which is what we're about to test here today. Existing users should see a pop-up by now, if you haven't already fired up KDE Neon today, now prompting you to download the updates, which will bring you up to the 20.04 base. And what you will see is, if you're not already on it, you will be obviously upgraded to KDE Plasma 5.19, and to date it's 5.19.4 on the day of recording this video here today. So basically there isn't really much more to announce here, but the fact that the ISO is now readily available for you to go and download from the KDE Neon website. So here we are on the KDE website. It's the latest and the greatest, of course, as always, of the KDE community software, packaged on a rock solid base, which is what we're about to test here today, and is now rebased on the Ubuntu 20.04 LTS. So as usual, you can download it from the homepage by clicking the download KDE Neon, and that will download a 2 GB ISO for you. I've already done that, so we've got that up and running right now in a virtual machine. So if I flick back here, you can see now this is happily installing now onto our virtual machine. Let me just go full screen with this one here, so you get a full screen view of what's happening. We're nearly done actually with this release. So I've noticed with KDE that it's not too heavily packaged, actually, to be perfectly honest. And alongside Ubuntu, I will say the KDE Neon installation is a good place to start if you would like to possibly look at testing out some of the new features of Plasma as and when they get developed. So on the KDE Neon website, you of course get the stable branch, you get a testing branch, and you get a development branch. So advisable obviously to stick with the stable if you want to use it as a day-to-day machine, but if you're interested in looking at new features which come about, then obviously you can download the testing branch, which obviously is when stuff gets pushed up from development. And then of course you've got the development one where, you know, anything can happen, anything can break. So if you're looking to install that, then I wouldn't install it as a daily driver on your main production machine. Definitely not, no. But if you're interested to know what the developers are getting up to and what new features might be coming in a future release of Plasma perhaps, then yeah, download that development edition, and you'll be able to follow along with those releases there. But do obviously prepare yourself for some bugs along the way. So here we are, this installation is almost complete. I will say the good thing about KDE Neon when I'm installing this on any desktop these days, the installation process itself is anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes. You can get up and running very, very quickly with KDE Neon, I will say that at least. So we'll just let this happily plod along. We're at 89% already, which is really, really good. We obviously, if we were going to install this on actual hardware, then yeah, I would set up partitions and obviously assign users in my family. But obviously for the purpose of today's test, we're just going to go with one user, one full partition on one virtual machine, and we'll see how we go from there. So we'll just take a pause for a moment there, and we'll be back once the installation is complete. Okay, so the installation has now finished, and we are now being prompted to restart our machine. So let's just do that for you here now. And when I'm prompting to boot in for the very first time, you can see now we are on the 5.19.4 Plasma build. Pressing enter because it thinks I need to take out a USB key. And just to confirm, that installation took a whole 6 minutes on my desktop here. Obviously it was a virtual machine, only running 30 gigabytes worth of hard disk space on which is 4 gigabytes RAM, and I'm running it on video RAM of 128 megabytes. Okay, so this is booting into KDE Neon for the very first time. Beautiful, here we are, the wonderful new login screen. I say new because it is new as part of 5.19. Existing KDE users obviously will not notice any difference here at all. But if I now enter in the password, and by the way, if you're not really liking this login screen, then there are many other login themes that you can actually download within the system settings. Now, my experience of using KDE over the last few months or so, yeah, within various distributions, has been quite varied, I will say. So the KDE Neon installations always appear to me to be the fastest, especially on my hardware here. But very limited in terms of its out-of-the-box software. So if I was thinking of doing KDE, I would either do Ubuntu, but again that will be on Ubuntu's base there, of course, which is now on 20.04.1 now this week. But there are other obviously ways you can install the latest Plasma as well. You can do that via Arch, any Arch distribution. So I would use either Endeavour as my primary Arch distribution, but of course you can do it via Vanilla Arch, Archman, Manjaro. Yeah, so it's all there. You can download it so long as the latest version of Plasma is available to you in the repositories, then you can happily download and install that if you need it. But you should get 5.19.4 out of the box. So here we are, launched into the KDE Neon desktop now as me as a user. So you can see here we've got the 5.19 default desktop. So let's take a look and see what the wallpapers are. You're not going to see anybody watching this video that's on the current 5.19 build. You're not really going to see much differences here. So this, you happily feel free to tune away now. But this walkthrough primarily is going to be based for new users amongst us, and yeah, just get some sort of sense of look and feel of what it's like to run KDE Neon as your daily driver. So scrolling through the wallpapers, we've got the generic wallpapers that you get with the 5.19 build. I'm not seeing anything new as such here, but if you wanted to go and download a new wallpaper, then of course you've got this Get New Wallpapers option here. And if I just go full screen with this, you can see already now we're getting theming coming in to show off the new look and feel of the Mac OS. So I'm not really a lover of this new white Sir wallpaper, and I think it's probably more primarily to do with the pinks and the reds, not liking my eyes or my desktop much. So not one for me, I'm afraid, Apple. But you know, when it comes around to updating my Apple Mac from the Catalina across to Big Sur in October, then we will just wait and see with bated breath what that brings to light for me here. So scrolling through these wallpapers, they all look absolutely beautiful, as they always do. Credit to all of those artists that do this. Oh, see, there's a darker version of this plasma screen, so I might actually do this one because I don't like the brighter pink. So you just click in there, and of course you can just click to download. You can download it with a logo or without a logo. Obviously with the logo, that puts the KDE stamp in the bottom left or the bottom right hand corner, or it just says plasma, or you can download it without, which is what I'm doing for you right here right now. I did tell it to install. Did you install correctly? Let me just check. Ah, yes, it's done. So if I now just click use, that should now automatically change that. And if I just click close, okay, so it's gone into our library, but it hasn't automatically chosen it. So if I just select that and click apply, that should change now. Yeah, beautiful. Lovely, lovely. So I've changed the wallpaper. There's a good selection here. You know what to do. You can add your own images. And one thing I do like to do with the icon side of things is I do like to change it from rows to columns, just to kind of give me a nice tidy desktop. I also like to just reduce the icon size down by 1 notch and click apply. And that's my desktop settings all sorted, although there's no icons here just yet. Let's go now into the menu. And that will take a while to just populate, so that looks like it's slow to load at first. If I click it again, there we go, see? Nice. I'm going to go into system settings, and I'm just going to change the default theme. So on global theme, we've got Breeze and Breeze Dark. I always like to choose Breeze Dark, and I just apply that. That will now change it to a nice dark look and feel. And what you can do again, you can go and get more new themes from here. There's the White Sir, and somewhere down here is the White Sir Dark, which is what I'm going to choose. I mean, do you want me to show you how to kind of Macify this desktop? I'm sure you don't. You've seen the other videos on the tube and been able to obviously follow along and get it looking exact. Yeah, so that's done now. So if I just select the White Sir Dark and click apply, there we go. I'd already selected Breeze Dark, so the only thing it's done really now is given me more of a transparent panel and changed my icon to Apple. And in actual fact, what it's done, if I click the actual menu, it's now changed the majority of the icons into Apple. But I'm not liking this transparent look. I mean, look at it. It's not good if you've got Windows just beneath it. I mean, come on, guys, sort it out. As beautiful as it looks, come on, sort it out. Anyway, that's more to do with the people that actually have developed this this theme here. On Plasma Style, again, you've got the option to change the look and feel. So at the moment we're set to White Sir Dark. I'm going to set it back to Breeze Dark in actual fact, because I don't particularly fancy seeing that transparent menu. So it's semi-transparent now, which is more, much more like it, better on my eyes, definitely. That's good. So application style, yeah, nothing needs to change here. That's good. Colors, where are we? We're set to White Sir Dark, which I'm okay with. Fonts, you can change your fonts here if you wish. And icons, we should be currently set to White Sir Dark. And cursors, is currently set to Breeze, and that's fine because I do like this sort of triangular cursor look. Workspace behavior. So we've got now, because it's on the 5.19.4 Plasma build, you've now got more. It's not use the word stability, more flexibility. That's the word I'm looking for. In terms of making the animation slower or faster. So I like to just bring that up one more notch, and then click apply. Desktop effects. You have got the opportunity to, of course, add in your wobbly windows, but as I'm in a virtual machine, it doesn't show me any wobbly windows, and I can't demonstrate you any wobbly windows. But if I just obviously disable these options here, you can see that wobbly windows is available to you if and when you get that installed on actual hardware. Now, I think I probably need to look into how Compiz behaves on a virtual machine, because I've never used it, and even Compton, and see if I can get those animations working. I have seen some people on YouTube with other videos been able to get those features working, but obviously I can't within a virtual machine, but I can once I've got it installed on actual hardware. So screen edges, you can set what you want the corners to do. So for example, if you want the top left hand corner to launch the application launcher or the activity manager, or even show you the full grid, you can do that if you like. I'm not going to change that. I'm just going to leave that set by default. If you're on a touch screen, then yes, you can set your trigger actions and your gestures here. Screen locking, you can lock your screen after 5 minutes. I don't like to do it because I find that's too quick, so therefore I will lock my screen after about half an hour, because I'm very rarely away from my terminal, but when I do go away, then half an hour is okay for me. And then unlocking, you ask for the password. And on the appearance side, this is how the screen lock will look. So you can choose one of the wallpapers of your choice to be the actual login window. And so if I chose, for example, this colorful cups, and I just do that. And if I lock my screen now by going to leave and say lock, there we go. You see, there's the colorful cups. And I just click to log in again, enter in my password, and we're back in to the desktop. Okay, so that's just some of the desktop features, and let's now check to see what the software is out of the box. Again, this is more primarily aimed at the new users of KDE Neon. So graphic wise, we've got no real graphics editor here, but you've got the document viewer of Ocular, which enables you to view PDFs. And you've got your GWEN view, which obviously is just a standard image viewer. But again, if you're looking for an image editor, then obviously you can go ahead and install GIMP, or is it Glimpse? Yeah, there's another one. You've got that. We'll come back to all applications again. So internet, out of the box, you've got Firefox as your default browser. Again, you can go and download others. As it's an open KDE platform, you should hopefully be able to have readily available to you browsers such as Opera, Vivaldi, and Chrome. But if you haven't, then obviously because it's Ubuntu based, then you just need to go and download the deb files for each one of those browsers of your choice. Back to applications again, and if we click into here, we can see under multimedia we've just got the VLC player. Under Office, there's no Office applications loaded just yet. Fantastic. Now that might explain that the installation was quick, and it might also explain why the ISO itself is quite low. But again, you can install Libre, FreeOffice, whichever Office suite of your choice you choose. And then you've got your settings as well. We've already been into system settings and had a look around there. You've got your input to change your keyboards, etc. Utilities, you've got the archiving tool, emoji selector, you get a text editor, and of course your screen capture. Everyone loves a bit of screen capture, don't they? And again, under help, that should load up probably a web browser now. Okay, it loads up the help center. So here you've got now basically full documentation about how to use KDE Neon. So if you do want to download Office, it shows you what you've got here. Yeah, Ocular. But if you did that, then let's just take a look at Discover. So Discover is your software center. This is like your app store. So this is where you would go and actually download and install the latest software, and also get the updates as well. So down here I can see that the package manager is prompting me that I have some security updates available to me. I've loaded up Discover, and I can see that I have 9 updates waiting for me here. So if I just click into that, I can see that I've got security updates around the SMB client, the Samba library, and also Python 3, and some of the lib files, of course, there. If I just go update all and enter in my password, these are quite fairly small, so they should download and install very, very quickly. There they go, installing. And whilst that's happening, let's just take a look at applications. So here now we get the default set of applications, and you can see you've got a categorized view. If we click into Office, you've got the option to download applications of your choice here. It's not in any alphabetical order, so sort it by rating, or you can sort it by name. So a lot of people make this mistake and actually think that there's something wrong with this view, and they forget about that filter view in the top right hand corner. So just remember, if you want to see an alphabetized view of this, then you just need to come up here to the top right hand corner and click in that drop down list and select sort by name. You can also sort by size and release date, but obviously name is what I'm looking for here. So I'm just going to scroll down the list and find LibreOffice. And here we go, we've got LibreOffice Base, Calc, Draw, Impress, Math, Writer, etc. So we're looking for the main LibreOffice, and you can see we don't have it. So rather than me trying to attempt to download and install each of these applications individually, I'm actually now going to go into the LibreOffice website. So we load up Firefox. Just close down the help option here. Okay, with Firefox loaded, I am just now going to do a Google search for LibreOffice. And I'm going to download version 7, which is the latest release. Again, I could do it in terminal, straight from a wget, which I might just do actually. If you go into download now, just maximize this browser for a moment. You can see now we're being prompted to download the deb file, and that will now come down as an archived deb file. It's coming through as a .tar.gz, so that's an archive, and that will start happily downloading now. We should get a prompt in the top right shortly asking us, do we want to save or open? There we go. So I'm going to save that file, okay that. And it's quite a small file. Okay, and then we click into the folder view so we can go directly into the folder. And I'm going to unpack this. So right click and say extract, and extract archive here. And that puts that into my downloads folder. So if I click into the LibreOffice suite, I've now got debs and readmes here. So I already know which terminal command I need to use to be able to install this. However, if you wanted to, you could, like I say, go through Discover and actually install the applications one by one. Or you can install the full Office suite by coming into here, downloading this deb file, extracting it, And then if you go into the debs root folder, the roots of debs, you can then just do a right click and say open, where is it? Should we say open with terminal? Or yeah, open with. Okay, we're going to open with other applications. And I'm going to search for console. There is console. I'm going to remember the application association. Maybe not. No, that's fine. I'll okay that. We should now have a, yep, there we go. So if I now show you quickly, you have got, if I just zoom in a bit on this for you, we are now already loaded into the downloads folder and the LibreOffice suite. And we're going to install version 7.0.0.0.3. That's what we're going to install. So I'm just going to, as this is the name of the file, in fact, no, let's just do, we need to do a list. So let's do an ls first of all. And we've got the debs files in it. Okay, fine. So we need to go into that directory. So we go cd and then debs as the exact folder name there. And you can now see we're in the debs. So if I go ls, we've got our full Office Suite listing here. Obviously, at this time, I can't do much, but there are many deb files here to extract and install. So again, you could, if you wanted to, unpack and install them one by one. But what we are going to do is install them all. So we have to do a sudo, and then we're going to do dpkg, and then -i to install. And then we're going to do space star.deb. So that will install all of the debs within this folder. Enter in my password. And now that's going to extract and install all of the Office Suite. Now this might take some time to do, but this is just a quick, easy way to install the entire Office Suite via one simple command within your terminal. So we'll just let that now complete. And what we should start to see within the applications area is, if I click into Office, we've got nothing there yet, but within the next few minutes we should see the entire Office Suite available to us in there. So what else could I do? So let's play around with the panel while that's happening. So if I go to Edit Panel, I'm just going to decrease the height slightly because I like to keep my height around the 30 mark. So 30, 30, if I can get it down, 30, 30, 30. 30 is good. There we go. And next I'm going to add a widget. And one of my favorite and first widgets I always install is the weather report. Just click and drag that into the panel. And you can see now that that is now available to me in the panel with a question mark against it. Why? Because I need to configure it. So right click and go configure. And it's here now where I set my weather details. So my location is now coming from BBC Weather. I am based in Medway, Kent, so therefore I'm going to search for Rochester. And it's not the USA version, but it's the Rochester here in Medway. So if I select Rochester Medway from the BBC, how often do I want to update that? Well, I can't go any lower than 30 minutes. So every 30 minutes that will now update. And I click apply. And you can see now that our icon down in the taskbar has changed to a moon, and is telling us, as we hover over it, the current temperature, but it's in Fahrenheit. So I now need to go into Appearance and show beside the widget icon my temperature. And when I click on the icon, I want it to show the wind, pressure and humidity levels as well. Under Units, we click Apply, and then I'll just change Fahrenheit to Celsius. And my visibility I like to keep at kilometers. Again, I'll apply that. And we OK that. So now you can see down here in the taskbar we've got our temperature gauge and what the current situation is with the cloud. So you can see we've got clear skies and the moon is rising. and we're 31 degrees currently right now, which is still quite sweltering. Yes, we're in the middle of a heat wave here at the moment, hopefully expecting some thunderstorms to cool things down over the next couple of days. I know we've been having some severe storms to the west of us, but hopefully down here in the southeast we should be getting something cool within the next couple of days or so. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. But if we click onto that, you can see that yep, our forecast for Thursday shows thundery showers and 28, so things starting to cool down just a little bit. And I notice now, as we are heading steadily towards September, that the nights are drawing in. Yeah, we're losing 3 or 4 minutes worth of light every day now. Right, let's just take a quick check on the terminal, and we can see now that the installation for the LibreOffice Suite 7 is now complete. So with that, I'm just going to CD that to return back to my root. I'm going to clear this, if I can spell today. There we go. And the next I'm going to do is, if it's not already installed, is a sudo apt install, and I just want to check what NeoFetch is up to. And we're going to install that. And let's take a look at what our desktop is doing. So we are running on a 4 gig installation, and we are running 1.5 gigs of that, which is really good considering I've got this running in a virtual machine at the moment. And we haven't really got anything running, so it's a really good stable installation here. So one thing I'll be looking forward to is actually getting this installed on actual hardware and to see how it performs. I've been a regular Ubuntu user for some time now, and I will say that when you compare Ubuntu to KDE Neon, there's really no difference in terms of functionality, but obviously until this week KDE Neon has been running on the 1804 LTS build rather than the actual 2004.1 build as we are now. So while we've got the terminal up, let's just see if we can do an LSB release on this and see what details we get. We are currently on KDE Neon User Edition on 5.19, and we're on the 20.04 build, so we're not on the 0.1 release. So is the 0.1 release available to us? Maybe not, but let's take the chance, shall we? So we do a sudo apt update now, and we'll just quickly see what out of the box we get and how many updates we need to do. Like I say, we've already done some updates through the Discover software, and we're now going to try and see what updates we've got through the terminal. We're all up to date. Okay, no problems there at all. But one thing I am going to do is do a sudo pkcon update, and what that will do is that will update the packages, and we've got no further packages requiring updating to newer versions. Fantastic, that's great. So there we have it. I don't want to go into too much detail on KDE Neon, chance for you to have a play around yourself, but like we say, depending on your hardware, and obviously whether you're running it off a spinning drive or an SSD, go and play now. So KDE Neon 5.19.4 is now available to you, and that is now running on the LTS 2004 branch of Ubuntu. So let me just bring up the details. Or is it? Oh no, you have to do info, isn't it? Yeah, info center. And here we are, 5.19.4, and we're running on KDE version of 5.72 on the Qt release of 5.14, and we're on the kernel 5.4.0, the generic one there. So again, up to you if you want to upgrade yourselves to the 5.7 latest kernel. 5.8 is now available, but yeah, I would stick with this until the KDE team push up another build. If you do want to test it, then I would suggest you go and download either the testing or the unstable builds of the release here. So this has been my quick installation and walkthrough of KDE Neon 5.19 with the Ubuntu 2004 build based on top of it. As always, do, if you want to follow along and get any further notifications of future walkthroughs, then don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell, and you'll be notified as and when we either go live on a live stream with another live walkthrough, or we of course have another video uploaded to this channel. So thank you very much for watching and joining us here. This has been Robin with a look through of KDE Neon 5.19.4, and I'll catch you again in the next video.